Imagine this. On a Sunday morning, you are chilling with your family and decide to grab a Subway sandwich for everyone. You go to the outlet, have your order, and return home. But then, something unexpected happens, and out of nowhere, you feel nausea, fever, and vomiting. You rush to the doctor, and as horrific as it may sound, your liver fails, all because of the tasty sub you just ate. We hope it never happens to you, or with anyone for that matter, but the truth is, if you ate at a Subway outlet in September 1999 in Seattle, you might have ended up getting hepatitis, because this is what happened to 32 people who did exactly the same. Subway's history, spanning almost 6 decades, is no short of such horrible incidents. But then, how did they manage to build a highly profitable sandwich empire and survive for so long in the fast food industry? Well, let's find out. Fred Deluca, the co-founder of Subway, was born in 1947 in New York. In his childhood, he used to earn money by collecting empty bottles and cashing them in for 2 cents each. When Fred grew up, in his teen years, he wanted to study medicine and become a doctor, but he lacked the money he needed for college. So, he decided to take a job in a hardware store the summer before college, but realized the meager wages were not enough. But he didn't lose hope. Fred had a family friend, Dr. Peter Buck, a nuclear physicist, who he thought may be able to help him. But while he might be expecting direct monetary help, what he got instead from Dr. Buck was a $1,000 check and an idea. The idea that was going to change not only Fred's career, but his entire life. The idea was to open a sandwich shop.
It's a great idea. It's great.
Now, Fred was totally alien to the art of making sandwiches. It is said that never in his life, till that day, had he even made a single sandwich. But he had funding, a partner, Dr. Buck, and after all, a need for money and a will to make it somehow work. So he opened Subway's first outlet in Bridgeport, Connecticut by the name Pete's Drive-In Super Submarines. It started as a family business, with Fred's mother running the first shop and his sister working as a so-called sandwich artist. On its day one, the shop saw great success as it sold more than 300 sandwiches, with each one being around $1. So they made about roughly 30% of the initial investment. But call it beginner's luck or the hype, the days that followed brought a downfall in the business. It went up to a point when the submarine partners were left with just $6 remaining them. An obvious next step for an ordinary person in that situation would have been to shut the shop and think of something else. But then, who said Fred and Dr. Buck were ordinary people? What they did next will surprise you. Instead of shutting down the outlet, they went on to open another outlet under their brand. Now, while this may seem like a stupid thing to do to so many of you, maybe they did it as a marketing trick to create an image of their brand as being a successful one. But their second venture failed too.
Oh no!
However, they once again followed the same logic and opened up a third one. This time by the name Subway, a name that we are all familiar with. Fortunately, their trick worked, and the third outlet managed to do a business of $6,000 in its first year. Imagine what would have happened if the third shop had failed too. Maybe there wouldn't have been a Subway today. Fred continued college and earned his degree, but decided to let go of his medical aspirations and decided to pursue his career in the food industry. He decided to open 30 similar stores in their state by 1974, but 10 years passed and they could open only 16 stores in Connecticut. Also, Subway was having a hard time maintaining the same level of quality at all the outlets. Fred and Dr. Buck knew that they needed to think of something more feasible for the long run. It was then that they came up with the idea of a franchise model.
Franchise Realty Corporation.
Basically, a franchise model is one in which an established brand allows an independent business owner to use its branding, business model, and other intellectual property in exchange for an upfront franchise fee and ongoing royalties to the franchisor. But how much is this franchise fee? Well, it depends from business to business. Subway had a relatively cheap franchise fee, which helped the company open up a lot of franchise outlets in a very little duration of time. With the company opening its first Subway franchise in 1974 in Wallington, Connecticut, it ended up opening around 14 other outlets in the same year. All the Subway restaurants were required to keep up with certain key principles, which were high quality, fresh food, and customer satisfaction. The company also made it compulsory that the bread that was used should be baked in the restaurant itself. This helped increase Subway's reputation and demand, and by 1978, Subway was able to open its 100th store.
It shows real growth. I'm proud of you.
6 years later, continuing the expansion, Subway opened up its first outlet outside of North America in a location that many thought to be a bit unusual for a first. It was Bahrain. Maybe it was another of Subway's unique business tricks. And even if it wasn't, the Subway business expanded so quickly and vastly that by 1998, it had 10,000 stores all around the world. While everything seemed to go great for Subway, it might not be the same with Subway franchise owners. It was reported that Subway's franchise clauses were very ruthless and had one of the highest royalty fees. But with Subway on a mission to open as many stores as possible, what the company seems to have been neglecting was the competition growing among the Subway stores themselves. Many Subway franchisees accused the company of defrauding and damaging them, sometimes by opening too many franchises in their neighborhoods. Judges and juries in several cases also found that the company had conned or misled landlords by using shell companies.
Here's the updated list of shell companies from Forensic Accounting.
The U.S. House of Representatives Small Business Committee studied the franchise industry for 6 years, and their staff economist Dean Sagar concluded Subway is the biggest problem in franchising and emerges as one of the key examples of every abuse you can think of. But this was just the beginning of many controversies that Subway was about to get into. In September 1999, as mentioned earlier, at least 32 customers in Seattle contracted hepatitis A after eating food contaminated with the virus at 2 Subway outlets. In the investigation, the staff was found guilty of not following proper sanitation measures while preparing the food. It had consequences so serious that a 6-year-old boy suffered an acute liver failure that required a liver transplant. However, the class action lawsuit filed on behalf of the victims was resolved by the company for $1.6 million, with the 6-year-old boy receiving $10 million individually. But one of the biggest controversies that Subway got into was the one with Jared Fogle. In 1999, an article was published in which a man named Jared Fogle claimed that he lost 111 kilograms weight by exercising and eating a diet of Subway sandwiches. As soon as Fred got to know about him, he met and made him Subway's featured spokesman in 2000. From that year onwards, he became the subject of a lot of Subway advertisements and marketing campaigns. The company started marketing itself as a healthy alternative that helped it get an edge over the existing junk food chains and made large-scale profits. At that time, as America was struggling with high obesity levels due to the fast food eating trend,
obesity, diabetes, cholesterol,
Subway became the best option to choose. In 2002, Subway became the franchise with the highest number of outlets, overtaking longtime leader McDonald's. However, around the year 2008, as the company began focusing on its $5 footlong promotion, Jared's presence in Subway ads decreased. But that wasn't the end of Jared's episode in Subway. Something very horrific and disturbing was about to be unveiled. In the year 2015, Jared was charged with some horrific allegations involving a child. We don't want to detail that here. As an immediate call of action, Subway ended its relationship with Jared and denied any involvement or knowledge of his activities. However, if reports are to be believed, high-ranking Subway officials knew about Jared's illicit activities.
And that is where they screwed up, whoever did this.
The Jared episode caused a huge blow to Subway's reputation and sales, and in order to get over it, Subway launched a new marketing campaign, founded on Fresh, which focused on Subway's establishment and early history. On a very unfortunate day in 2015, the controversial, ambitious, and great co-founder of Subway, Fred Deluca, passed away after battling leukemia for 2 years. After his death, his sister Suzanne Greco took over the company and became its president and CEO. However, it is said that she was inexperienced for the position, and the company saw a significant decline in the years that followed. Year after year, hundreds of Subway stores began to shut down. The present state of the company is such that it was active in 36,821 locations as of June 2021, and in November 2021, another piece of news that shook the Subway empire was announced. when the second pillar of the company, Dr. Buck, passed away just a month before his 91st birthday. Subway still has a lot of fans all around the world, but its harsh policies with franchise owners and controversies cannot be ignored. Do you believe that as a customer, one should only focus on the product served and not on the company's code of conduct? Or will a company's bad reputation affect your decision to be its customer? Let us know in the comments. If you found this video entertaining or learned something new, please leave a like and tell us what you'd like to see next. Also, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell on your way out so you won't miss out on our next inspiring video. Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you again soon.